Shadowbuilder tells the story of a demon summoned to take the soul of a young boy who has the potential to become a saint. By doing this, he will open the gates of hell and plunge the world into an eternal darkness, and it's up to a gun-toting priest to stop the demon before he can accomplish his task. What's up, guys, and welcome to another video review. This time we're going to be talking about Shadowbuilder, starring Michael Rooker and directed by Jamie Dixon. This is probably the first time I've seen this film in a long time, so it was great to revisit. But before I get into my thoughts, if you enjoy video reviews overall, there's about a ton of channels I could recommend. But if you enjoy this particular review, be sure to subscribe if you want to see more and click the bell if you want to stay up to date. And if you really enjoyed this video review, be sure to hit that like button. So for now, let's get right down to it. Now, Shadowbuilder is a late 90s direct-to-video movie, and if you've seen a lot of late 90s or maybe even early to mid 90s direct-to-video horror movies, you kind of like tailor your expectations to more or less what you're going to get from them. And from Shadowbuilder, well, this is really a good movie. Really much higher class than what I'm used to seeing in regards to 90s horror movie. There are a couple of gems. This one stands out because, for one, it has better than average characters. Each of them are interesting. Many of them you actually get behind. And Kevin Zegers, who plays the little boy, is surprisingly likable. Usually, a character like this, especially when it's a kid, is portrayed as arrogant, obnoxious, and, well, just makes you feel that if only his death didn't trigger the return of the devil, you just wish you could have killed him. But no, he's quite likable and actually quite a tough character too. And for the rest of the characters, you have Michael Rooker, who plays Father Jacob Vassy, an interesting character in his own right, although Michael Rooker seems like he's giving a bit of a Donald Pleasence's impression, but he does pretty well in his role. The other familiar faces also include Leslie Hope, whom I've seen a couple of times, and Tony Todd, Candyman himself, is in here. And as for the rest of the cast, believe it or not, I haven't seen any of those actors before or since this film. However, they do give great performances. Effects wise, the CG is pretty impressive, but this film isn't CG heavy. What it has is, like I said, very impressive, but the effects are like an afterthought. So whether or not they are actually good or bad is not important because this film is not effects driven. It's strictly plot. Now, plot wise, it's, like I said, very good. You get behind the characters, you're invested in what's going on. The demon himself, which is played by Andrew Jackson, has a good backstory to him. He's also one of the most interesting parts about this film, and he's overall a great villain. In terms of what I don't exactly like about the film, is that it has a slight case of repetitiveness, which is only mild but noticeable. And something I had an issue with the first time I saw the film, which was back in the late 90s, was the lack of logic, or the fact that I couldn't exactly understand the logic. But upon the revisiting the film recently, I actually, okay, now I understand a lot of the things I didn't understand the first time I saw it. But revisiting this film was quite fun. I thought it was good back the first time I saw it. It's a good film now. And in terms of direct-to-video late 90s fare, it's certainly better than what you're used to. The CG, the storyline, and the characters are all top notch, but going back to the first time I initially saw it, I was at the video store, and when I saw the packaging, I thought, man, this really looks lousy. I initially wanted to pass on ever watching it up until I saw the trailer, ironically, on one of the films I ended up renting that day, and I thought, man, does look as if it could actually be better than average, because after having seen a lot of late 90s horror movies, you kind of like develop a certain expectation for them, and by the time you see one with a packaging that looks kind of like your average direct-to-video horror movie, you're like, okay, I'm not in the mood for this anymore. I'm looking for something more serious. see the trailer, oh, it actually looks more serious and a lot better. So I was glad to find out this was actually a good movie, although the first time, like I said, I couldn't figure out the logic all the time, but on second viewing, for the first time in who knows how long, then a few things made more sense. So multiple viewings might be recommended to fully understand the storyline. Although, as a horror movie, it's very light on gore. It has a few tidbits here and there, but they're very tame in comparison to what you usually get. And no cheap jump scares, like the kind that are apparently designed to make you go deaf. None of those. So, with that said, I'll give Shadow Builder a solid 6.1 out of 10. So, have you guys seen Shadow Builder and what did you think about it? Also, since this is based on the short story by Bram Stoker, more known for having penned Dracula, what is your favorite film adaptation of a Bram Stoker short story or novel? Let me know in the comment sections below, and until the next time, I'll see you guys later.